What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Charlotte Flair got cooked, WrestleMania will be 9 hours long, a sad update on Kevin Owens' injury, a WWE superstar calls out Randy Orton for a match at WrestleMania, John Cena confirmed for Clash in Paris, a Bloodline member finally debuting in WWE, Chris Jericho is done, AEW star Hook suffers a scary concussion on Dynamite, Tammy Sytch settles her lawsuit for $5 million, the complete WrestleMania 41 card, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. On top of today's news are several stories concerning WrestleMania 41. With the show of shows just 8 days away, it appears that WWE has decided on its matches for the two-night event and the SmackDown before. So how many matches are we expecting? And while WWE usually limits the number of bouts on PLEs to 4 or 5, as Triple H likes to do, fans could expect many more at WWE's biggest show of the year. WrestleVotes tweeted about the match count and some additional bouts fans can look forward to. The sources indicate at this time the final WrestleMania card looks to shape out at 14 matches, with the following contests still to be announced: McIntyre vs Priest, Randy Orton vs To Be Decided, as well as a discussed tag title match involving the New Day and War Raiders. Obviously things can change, including the availability of Drew McIntyre, who's dealing with a legit eye injury, but as we stand 9 days out, this looks like the final direction. So it does move on to our next story: is Drew McIntyre working WrestleMania? Now there is an update on yesterday's story about the uncertainty of whether Drew McIntyre would be cleared in time to battle Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41. Drew, who suffered an eye injury after being chokeslammed into a car windshield recently, said he wasn't sure if he'd be cleared in time. But fans looking forward to the match can breathe a sigh of relief, as WWE's WrestleMania account now tweeted, "It's gonna be personal at WrestleMania when Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest clash on the grandest stage of them all." So the match is now official. Fans looking for a slobber knocker need look no further, as both superstars have shown an appetite for destruction that may make last year's McIntyre vs Punk feud look like a Playboy pillow fight. But what is a complete WrestleMania 41 card looking like? Now more details are coming in on what WrestleMania's card will look like and which matches are designated to each night. Well, the Observer listed both nights' cards, saying Night 1, War Raiders vs The New Day, Jade Cargill vs Naomi, LA Knight vs Jacob Fatu, Tiffany Stratton vs Charlotte Flair, Rey Mysterio vs El Grande Americano, Jey Uso vs Gunther, and the main event for Night 1, Rollins vs Reigns vs Punk. For Night 2, Io Sky vs Rhea Ripley vs Bianca Belair, Breakker vs Penta vs Balor vs Dirty Dom, Damian Priest vs Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton vs an unknown opponent, AJ Styles vs Logan Paul, Liv and Raquel vs an unknown tag team, and the main event for Night 2 is Cody Rhodes vs John Cena. What do you guys think of this card? Do you think WWE have done well with getting both nights spot on? But it seems that WrestleMania will be 9 hours. Now this is a pretty stacked card for both nights, but it seems that WrestleMania 41 will be 9 hours each. Now fans planning to watch WrestleMania from start to finish could be in for a bladderbuster of a show, as Cultaholic recently tweeted what fans should expect for each night of WWE's show of shows. WrestleMania 41 will reportedly be 9 hours for each show. Peacock has both nights listed as 9 hours each. This includes the pre-show and the post-show. Now, if past year's run times are any indication, expect a 4 to 5 hour main show. It's unclear if WWE will air any matches on its pre-show, something they rarely do nowadays. And the bottom line is that the pre-show and the post-shows bring in enough eyeballs for Peacock that WWE would likely try 4-hour pre-shows if they thought there was enough interest. Is anyone watching a 3 or 4 hour pre-show? Next up, Charlotte Flair got cooked. Now while the WWE Universe's booze getting under Charlotte Flair's skin, while the Queen is playing a heel, she was clearly unnerved by the Chicago fans' relentless boos for her on the 4th April SmackDown, and Flair's reaction to some recent social media burns suggests that she's struggling to deal with them. Now Charlotte Flair tweeted, "After being blindsided by my personal trauma on live television, my character said something on air that was not true, and I'd like to take this opportunity to clear the air. I should have never called the Chicago fans smart. I sincerely apologize." However, ex-user Jeremy TM roasted Flair with a flowchart that read, "Get a title shot, get hurt, get a divorce, get face surgery, and then all the way back." But Flair did fire back, saying, "Cute, now would you like to tell me what I think of you and your face?" But not to be outdone, Jeremy TM replied, "At least it's my original face though." Damn. But did Charlotte Flair ruin everything? Did Charlotte Flair ruin her program with Tiffany by testing the young wrestler's ability to take heat? Well, let's look at the new report from The Observer about the situation. One person in the company said Charlotte had been trying to rattle Tiffany, standard stuff. Cena does it, Randy does it. Young talent coming up, you put a little heat on them as a test to get them to either sink or swim. Well, Charlotte has effed this whole program by not adjusting. Now, the report brought up that Flair is supposed to be a heel, but the Observer's sources tell them last night Friday she got stuck. That Chicago crowd ate her up because they can see that she's doing more than business. She's trying to embarrass Tiffany. How is the apparent real-life heat between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair putting their Mania match in jeopardy? Well, some fans think the heat is something that could lead to a real-life shoot, a situation WWE wouldn't want with so many people presumably tuning in. However, Fightful Select spoke with the source about this and was told the creative direction hasn't changed in that regard. While last week's promo has created actual interest in a previously unappealing match, it's doubtful either woman is going to go into business for themselves and risk their spots in WWE. Next up, a sad update on Kevin Owens' injury. Now, Kevin Owens is going to be gone from WWE television for a long time. A report from The Observer discussed Owens' medical situation, reporting Owens' surgery was believed to have taken place on 7th April. In most cases, this type of surgery leads to the person being out 12 to 15 months, although there are other forms of neck surgery that can be done. Tommaso Ciampa several years back had a shorter recovery time. Owens put the timetable at 6 to 8 months or maybe a year. Now again, we send our best wishes to Kevin Owens from fast and full recovery. It's possible that he may be back for WrestleMania 42. Next up, a WWE superstar calls out Randy Orton. Or what WrestleMania plans, if any, does WWE have for Randy Orton now that Kevin Owens can't wrestle him due to a neck injury? With Mania almost here, fans are asking whether the Viper will even get a match at all. However, one superstar is putting his bid in for a match against Orton as Sheamus tweeted, "I'm available." Now, WWE haven't outright cancelled Randy Orton's match. He will have a match at WrestleMania 41, but the opponent is still unknown. That's definitely a plethora of superstars for Orton to face, including SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, or even a returning Aleister Black or Rusev. Hell, you could even put him in the ring with Solo Sikoa. He doesn't even have anything to do at WrestleMania. Next up, a Bloodline member finally debuting in WWE. Now, is Hikuleo finally debuting in WWE? The second-gen superstar, the adopted son of WWE superstar Haku, has been under contract for several months, but he hasn't been seen on television. But that may be changing as WrestleVotes discuss this situation on Sportskeeda's WrestleBinge Q&A, saying, "I see Hikuleo showing up on NXT in May or June. When he does, expect a big push. They like this guy. He's big, he's tall, he knows what he's doing, and he's got a strong family background. I expect a big push when he shows up." Now, Hikuleo had a run in New Japan Pro Wrestling as a member of the Bullet Club and the Guerrillas of Destiny, with fans expecting big things when he debuts. Next up, John Cena confirmed for Clash in Paris. WWE's Clash of Paris PLE is still a way off. It's 31st August for those keeping track, but it appears the WWE Universe will get to see John Cena continue his farewell tour in the City of Lights. The Observer is reporting WWE has confirmed Cena for this summer's Clash in Paris PLE, which is being held at Paris La Défense Arena on Sunday, August 31st. Cena is among the wrestlers featured on the promotional materials for the show. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, Penta, Rey Mysterio, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair, and Jacob Fatu are also advertised on the initial event poster. Now, it is important to remember that WWE is known for advertising superstars on posters only to change its lineup. Hence the line card's subject to change without notice. But given this is Cena's last roundup in WWE, it seems likely that he'll appear if he's being advertised. Next up, Chris Jericho is done. Now, what's next for Chris Jericho following his Ring of Honor World Championship loss to Bandito at AEW Dynasty? Fightful Select reports that Jericho is done competing in Ring of Honor. In addition, he may be taking time off. As the Observer noted, Jericho is also taking time off. He has a Fozzy tour from 17th April to 12th May, but he has Wednesdays off. When this tour was set up, the idea was he'd be in for Dynamite. However, he feels it's the right time for a break, and there's no time frame known or likely that will be talked about until a surprise return. Now, they also addressed the rumors of Tony Khan putting Ring of Honor's top title on Jericho to help with a TV deal Khan was trying to land. Jericho no longer being champion and his departure would indicate such a deal is not forthcoming anytime soon. Some fans believe it's time for Jericho to retire, but so far he hasn't given any sign that he's ready to retire yet. Next up, Hook suffers a scary concussion on Dynamite. Now, what happened to AEW wrestler Hook that made him vomit during a post-match beatdown at the hands of the Death Riders on the 9th April edition of Dynamite? Now, it seems that Hook could have suffered a concussion during the match, but Ringside News also noted many guess that the vomiting may have been caused by dehydration or extreme exhaustion. But even in his condition, ex-user Triple H Thoughts shared a video of the segment and commented, "Imagine watching a guy puke twice in the ring and still picking him up to do a front suplex on an upside down folded chair anyway. I mean, surely they should have stopped the match at that point, right?" Next up, Tammy Sytch settles for $5 million. Now it's time for an update on the civil lawsuit against Tammy Sytch, stemming from the 25th March 2022 vehicular crash where she drove a vehicle into a stopped car, killing 75-year-old Julian Lasseter. Inside the Ropes detailed a criminal case saying Sytch was sentenced to 17 years in prison after facing multiple charges, including DUI manslaughter, 1 count of causing death while operating motor vehicle with a suspended/revoked driver's license, 4 counts of DUI causing injury to a person, and 3 counts of DUI causing damage to property. But now the Observer is reporting on the civil lawsuit saying Tammy Sytch settled out of court with the family of Julian Lasseter for $5 million. There's no word on how she'll pay for the judgment, but if her financial circumstances change, you can be sure attorneys will move to secure whatever they can. And finally, why this former WWE star doesn't like The Rock anymore. Last but not least, the Good Brothers Carl Anderson is sad to report he no longer has The Rock on his Mount Rushmore of wrestling, telling listeners on his and Luke Gallows' Talkin' Shop podcast that while he once idolized the People's Champion, something he saw turned him off. And when I saw people running up to The Rock backstage at Gorilla and ask for pictures in Gorilla, I was like, I gotta get out of here. This ain't for me, bruh. Both superstars spoke about their perception that the WWE just isn't the same now that it's gone corporate, including The Rock joining TKO's board of directors. It appears that both men will open up more in May, presumably because their non-compete clause ends, so it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.